Oh yeah, I mean from the start, I mean I must say for the first couple of albums we were pretty much playing punk metal, thrash metal, but I would say the big change was when we moved to Montreal and stayed together in the same apartment in 85 and started to go through everybody's vinyl collection. And then that's where we really started to add modern composer bits, like from Shostakovich, Bartok, and also we listened to a lot of soundtracks, The Shining or Mad Max, we the music started to be more cinema oriented, and also got more into post-punk, Bauhaus, Killing Joke, and we were or industrial music, and we were never afraid to try to add new ingredients to the mix. And when we started recording in Berlin with Harris Jones, he was very well equipped with new technology, and so we explored that a lot, and especially on Dimension Hatras when we showed up in Berlin, and in the new Music Lab studio. He had a sampler, Akai sampler, and also octapad from Roland, and electronic pads. And so I started on my end to explore a lot more. And so we tried to use the technology as much as we can. And back then it was scary because if we had to do special effects, backward music, or the engineer had to cut the tape. Always a very stressful, nerve-wracking moment, and but these days it's just insane what you can do. And so we try to use it, and as much as we can. But also the fun part is like Chewy, not only is he's a great composer, but he's also a music teacher at college, and so he can write and compose charts for a string quartet like on the Wake, or a brass quintet like on the End of Dormancy EP, and people embrace it. Not only that, we are winning Junos for very intricate albums these days. So we're gonna explore that open-minded side even more. It gives us confidence.
You mentioned something interesting, and one of the questions I thought of asking you was kind of what is one turning point for the band, or what was one specific important period. But you mentioned the 80s, and that there was a window of about 4 years where the band really progressed and really. Why was that? Why do you think that period particularly was so fruitful?
I think it's because we moved to Montreal together, lived together, built the concept together, the music, the visuals, everything. And like I said, doing one album and one world tour every year. We rehearsed every night from 83 to 89. So it's when I got a copy of the compilation by Noise, the Noise years, 86, 88. 86, 88, from the first song of Roar to the last song of Dimension Hatras, it's almost not the same band, It really made me realize how full throttle we were going, and very dedicated and disciplined, and we had goals, and so we achieved these goals, ended up being on a major label and all that. But I think that the band probably imploded in the early 90s during the making of Engerat, because we had been so dedicated together all the time and all that. So that's yeah, maybe we lost a bit of a focus, but in retrospect, we were still able, with all the obstacles and all that in the early 90s, and we were still able to release albums that are really appreciated now, like Engerat and The Outer Limits, even though they went under the radar because of the grunge movement and all that. Now people really love these albums. Whenever there is a vinyl re-release, it sells out in minutes. So.